All right, we're going to go ahead and get started because we have a lot of information to get through. So I want to make sure that we're using our time the best we can. So I want to welcome you all. This is the Single Family Stella Link Development Project Pre-Application Conference. My name is Lindsay Broom. I'm a staff analyst here at the Housing Department. I work on the NOFA team, and I will be your facilitator today. We will have other presenters joining us. But I will kind of guide you through this meeting today. Again, housekeeping, just keep your mics muted. There will be an opportunity at the end for you to ask questions, and then you can, raise your hand and unmute. Also, you can put your questions in the chat if you would like, and we will answer those all at the end of the meeting. Some kind of given questions. Yes, the slides will be available. They will be posted on the housing website as well as a recording of this meeting. So let's get started. So this morning, we're just going to talk about the funding, the solicitation schedule. Some of our team members from the single family team will talk about the project itself and what is included in the NOFA. Also, we'll have our compliance employees talk about the different compliance requirements that apply to this project or this proposed project. And then at the very end, I will guide you through the how to apply. I'm just going to make sure that my screen is being shared. I don't think it looks like it is. All right. Hopefully you all can see that. Make sure you guys mute your mics. Okay, let's begin with the funding source. So this is going to be Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery 2017 funds, or as we say, CDBG DR17 funding. It's two different kind of subsets of funding. One is the actual land that's already been acquired. That was $13,970,000 roughly of land and the due diligence on that land. And the other portion will be the $11.5 million that will be for the development of infrastructure and home construction on that land. This is kind of our estimated timeline. The NOFA was issued on Friday, June 7th. So when I say issued or published, I mean that it was posted on the website. So it is available for viewing, and I will show you how to get to that at the very end of the presentation. Today, we're having our pre-application conference. And then that July 3rd deadline is when you can submit your questions regarding the NOFA, the application process. Screen keeps getting unshared.
So this is
Oh, sorry.
So your questions need to be submitted in writing by July 3rd, 2024. And then the actual application for the project will be due on July 12th, 2024 at 3 p.m. via our on-base portal, which again, I will explain to you how to do that towards the end of the presentation. All right, so I'm going to hand it off to my colleague Devon to talk about the NOFA and the project itself.
Good morning. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, my name is Devon Dale. I'm an administration manager in single family, and I'd like to give an overview about the Stella Link property that we're presenting today. Okay, next slide, Lindsay. Okay, so the Stella Link property is land that has been acquired by the city. We're seeking interest in developers to develop homes for LMI. For at least 51% of the total homes must be affordable price to LMI, which is low to moderate income home buyers. And we're seeking developers to convey the land and potentially finance. The city will finance a portion of the infrastructure and our construction costs. The land grant and potential forgivable loan for infrastructure and home construction. Next slide. Okay, the materials referenced here, as you can see, which will be available to you in the slideshow. Next slide. Okay, Lindsay, can you scroll? Can you enlarge it? So this is our estimated timeline of the development. Linda, are you able to enlarge the screen? I can hardly.
No, Devon, I'm not.
Not much? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the estimated timeline is granted through the end of these first quarter of 2020, at the end of 2027. So we're estimating the project to be completed, and that's with the marketing and sales of the homes at that time. As you can see, right now we began the NOFA process, which should go through August. And I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time seeing. And then we have the developer selection.
Devon, you want me to do it? I can see it.
Yes, please, Lindsay, thank you.
Sure. So the NOFA, these are all rough estimates, right? We're looking at the NOFA process through August of 2024, and then moving to developer selection. So that will be, include the review of the applications, picking, the highest scored. Can I get everyone to turn off their camera too? It seems like there might be like a network issue, like, just too many people on. So if you could all mute and turn your cameras off, that would help, I think, because I keep getting, kicked off. Then we're going to move into the negotiation and the agreement finalization, which will be, it looks like end of 2024, beginning of 2025. Then we move into the project design phase, looking through the end of July 2025. Infrastructure development, ending right at the beginning of 2026. Construction of homes can be anywhere from, October 2025 through December 2026, and then beginning the sale of homes. So the key takeaway here is we're looking to have the sales completed by the end of 2027, so December 2027. All right, so I'm going to hand it back off to Devon.
Okay, thank you. Okay, as you can see, this is a picture of the Stella Link site, which is located alongside Stella Link Road, Willow Bend Avenue, and Highway 90. It's approximately 12.22 acres. Again, 13.9 million will factor into the number of lots created for this project. It does require an above-ground detention for this project as preferred. Next slide. Okay, so the survey analyst does indicate that there is a sewer drainage. So it just basically gives it identifies the easements that are going throughout the property, and in the middle is the sewer drainage. And over to the right of the screen is going to be another easement, which also includes easement from that lies for CenterPoint Energy. And it falls out just outside of the that solid line over to the right of the screen. This array will be available as well within the PowerPoint that'll be sent out. You can go to the next slide, Lindsay. Okay, the City of Houston will provide noise study analysis that this project will require a noise attenuation. The federal requirement noise level cannot exceed more than 65 decibels. And again, the city will provide the noise mitigation study to the awarded developer. Okay, this is a sample of the preliminary community design. The density will vary based upon the mixture of homes that the city is requiring or wanting from the developer. Okay, and the eligible criteria for this project is we are asking for no smaller than 2-bedroom homes and no larger than 4 bedrooms. So we're wanting to have a mixture of 2, 3, and 4-bedroom homes on this property. Affordable homes must be of equivalent size, quality, and materials, and finishes as market rate homes. Project development to include homes of mixed income levels. At least 51% of the homes built are to be sold to households at or below 80% AMI. HCD will verify home incomes based on current year HUD income limits. Next slide. And this is the new updated 2024 AMI for the Houston, Woodlands, Sugarland area. As for the long term, this award will be structured as a developer loan agreement for the purpose of constructing infrastructure for the development of single-family homes for sales to LMI Homebuyers. The minimum loan term will be for 5 years. The list of threshold items will include, you must not be debarred or suspended. You should be in good standing with the city. A certificate of account status from Texas Comptroller is required. 501c3, tax exempt status from Internal Revenue Service if applicable. And we must demonstrate 5 years of proven experience as a developer and evidence of financial capacity to successfully complete the proposed project at scale. Okay, this is a list of the scoring criteria that is based upon the developer's capacity, which is where you will be heavily weighted. We are seeking a developer to build resilient, energy efficient homes. Your scoring will be based upon that as well. We also have the community feedback priorities listed as scoring criteria, which are based on green space design, home design and sustainability, neighborhood mobility, neighborhood safety, and homeowner associations. So within that scoring criteria, you will see a breakdown of different items or features that the community is needing for this development. Affordability value will be weighted, as well as applicant proposed development of mixed affordable units, and the developer's marketing and sales timeline.
Okay, thank you, Devon. Okay,
Thanks,
we're gonna move into our compliance discussion. As many of you know, there's a lot of compliance requirements when we're talking about federal funding. So we're gonna have presenters for each one of these categories. So first up, we have our environmental. So Melissa, could you introduce yourself?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Melissa Lackey, and I'm the Environmental Administration Manager, and I will discuss the environmental requirements for this project. Next slide, please. An environmental review under 24 CFR Part 58 is required for this project because this is a federally funded project. Construction activities are likely to require an environmental assessment level of review, and this project will require an authority to use grant funds. And this must be achieved before any physical work can be performed on the property. Next slide, please. We are recommending that a current ASTM certified phase 1 environmental site assessment is performed. We do have an old one on record, but we would prefer a current one. As discussed previously, there are limited areas on the Stella Link site that are subject to elevated noise levels. They are above 65 decibels, and they will require mitigation or attenuation of some kind. Noise must be attenuated according to HUD-approved methods as outlined in the HUD Noise Guidebook. If you're not familiar with the HUD Noise Guidebook, we do recommend having an acoustical engineer or an architect confirming that noise is successfully attenuated on the site. HUD and non-HUD funds cannot be committed on any activity until HUD issues the AUGF or the clearance. Non-HUD funds can be used to undertake some activities, but there are a lot of limitations on what activities can be performed, and usually it's limited to borings for environmental assessments and other similar like non-physical work activities. If you need more information on what can be done, please reference 24 CFR 58.22. This details what's called a choice limiting action. Next slide. So to accomplish the 24 CFR Part 58 environmental review, this can be completed in one of two ways. Either the developer can choose an outside environmental consultant of your choice, after which our team will adopt the review and we will publish, or we can complete the Part 58 environmental review in-house with information provided directly from the developer. It is up to you. We can do it either way. The timing of the environmental review process and receipt of the AUGF varies greatly, and it depends on the level of preparation by the developer. A minimum expectation for an EA level review would be approximately 90 days, and that is for a developer that has all documentation and studies completed. Sometimes if additional information is required, it could take up to 6 months, but we are not expecting that length of a review for this site. So 90 to 120 days potentially. There is a question in the chat if anything was found in the ESA that would require a phase 2. A limited phase 2 was performed on the site, and I don't believe that there were any additional actions that were required, but we do want the developer to complete their own phase 1 for their own protection. Next slide, please. Okay, and as always, we are here to help with any environmental related questions. You can call 832-392-6200. And of course, this will be, the slides will be available so you can reference this. Or you can call you can email hcdenvironmental@houstontx.gov for information.
Thank you, Melissa. Up next, we have Michelle with Davis-Bacon. Michelle, are you on the call?
Yes. Good morning, everyone. I am a contract administrator for DBRA, and I will be presenting today. Next slide, please. The slides provide information about the applicability and enforcement of the Davis-Bacon and related acts. It's important to note that the Texas General Land Office, GLO, has verbally confirmed that DBRA is applicable to this development. However, the Housing and Community Development is seeking further guidance on whether DBRA applies to the entire project or only to a portion, such as site utilities. Next slide, please. The purpose of DBRA is to protect communities and workers from non-local contractors underbidding local wages, and it covers the Davis-Bacon Act covers the Contract Work Hours and Safety Standards Act, the Copeland Anti-Kickback Act, and the Fair Labor Standards Act. And it covers the labor and also administrative oversight over DBRA. The applicability covers contracts that exceeds $2,000. Please note all requirements apply to all lower level contracts independent of the amount. It covers alterations, repairs, redecorating, any work incidental to the project. Next slide, please. The prevailing wages are issued before the pre-bidding meeting. Rates are locked in by the bid opening date and are subject to the execution of the general construction contract. There are some exceptions that apply. Next slide, please. Contractors and subcontractors, including lower tier subcontractors, must notify and pay construction workers the hourly prevailing wage based on their trade, and they are required to pay weekly and have verifiable proof of payment that'll show the itemized rate of pay based on the hours worked. They are required to submit weekly certified payroll via the LCP tracker, which is a web portal which is accessible via phone, tablet, or your phone. You are required to submit initial required compliance documents prior to starting work on the project and submit any supporting documentation such as proof of payment, timesheets, French benefit plans, programs, etc. Next slide, please. Okay. DBRA mandated contract documents require SUD 40 and a copy of the general wage determination to be included in the contract. The pre-bid meeting is required for all procured contracts. This is the best time to provide the bidding contractors an overview of the prevailing rates and our requirements. The pre-construction meeting is in accordance with 29 CFR Part 5. A pre-construction conference must be held prior to the commencement of the construction work. After that, we will conduct an onboarding technical meeting before the construction starts with the contract administrator, and we will complete an onboarding training session. Okay. The Department of Labor final rule: after the contract award, prevailing rates are subject to change when a contract or order is amended to either include additional substantial construction not within the scope of work, or perform work for an additional time period not originally obligated to include. An option is exercised on a contract or order. Okay, and this is our contact information. Please feel free to email us any questions or give us a call.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you so much.
All right, next up we have Lakeisha.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Lakeisha Tate, the Administration Manager with Housing Community Development Contract Compliance Section. I will be providing the City of Houston's Minority Women Small Business Enterprise, HUD Section 3, and the City of Houston Pay or Play compliance requirements for the Stella Link NOFA. Next slide. So, the MWSBE program requirements is governed by 2 CFR 85.36 and the City of Houston's Chapter 15 Ordinance, Part 5, which the main purpose is to promote the growth and success of minority women small business enterprise. MWSBE program compliance requirements for the construction award under the Stella Link NOFA is advertised with a 29% MWBE goal, which the breakdown is 21% MBE and 8% WBE. Please note that MBE and WBE goals are separate goals that must be met individually. Only 4% SBE can be used to meet either the MBE and or WBE goal, but both cannot get 4% each. MWBE primes are allowed to meet advertised goals by self-performing up to 50% of the total contract goals. The MWBE primes will have to choose which goal they would like to receive credit for on the construction project, the MBE or the WBE. Once a goal for participation is selected, then the MWBE prime participation credit will be capped at the proposed percentage or the approved goal, whichever one is lower. The prime contractor shall make good faith efforts to award subcontracts or supply agreements to MWSBEs to achieve the goal requirements. Only firms certified through the City of Houston Office of Business Opportunity can be used to meet the MWBE goal requirements. For more information about the City of Houston's MWSBE certification process and to review the online certified directory that has over 3,500 certified firms, you can visit www.houston.mwdbe.com/. Next slide, please. So Section 3 program requirements are governed by 24 CFR Part 75. The Section 3 program requires that recipients of certain HUD financial assistance to the greatest extent possible provide training, employment, contracting, and other economic opportunities to low and very low income persons, especially recipients of government assistance for housing, to businesses that provide economic opportunities to low and very low income persons. Next slide, please. So any contractors with a contract of more than $100,000 for housing, construction, rehabilitation, or public construction are required to meet numerical goal requirements. Compliance with goal requirements can only be achieved by subcontracting with certified Section 3 business concerns and employing Section 3 workers. So if there are any new contracting or employment opportunities that shall arise, then contractors are required to meet the following. The following goals pertain to our contracting goals as well as employment. 10% of the construction cost, which is your hard construction budget from your total direct budget, must be directed to the Section 3 businesses. We have a 3% non-construction, which is that's the soft cost. That means 3% of your soft cost budget, that's for non-construction related activities, must be directed to Section 3 businesses. We have an employment goal requirement. 30% of new employment opportunities must be directed to Section 3 businesses. We do not expect you to actively seek out or create any new opportunities, but if any new opportunities, employment opportunities shall arise, they should be directed to Section 3 workers. Now we have a new 25% Section 3 worker benchmark. That means 25% or more of the total labor hours worked should be performed by Section 3 workers, with at least 5% being performed by target Section 3 workers. The next 3 slides, I will provide information on what qualifies you as a Section 3 business concern, a Section 3 worker, and a target worker. Next slide. So to qualify as a Section 3 business concern, you must meet one of the categories. 51% or more of your business is owned and controlled by low and very low income persons who meet annual income limits provided by HUD, or over 75% of the labor hours performed for businesses over the prior 3 months performed by Section 3 workers, and that information must be documented. And the third category will be a business at least 51% owned and controlled by a current public housing resident or residents who currently live in Section 8 assisting housing. Next slide, please. Categories that qualify you for a Section 3 worker. That means a worker whose income for the previous or calendar year is below the income limit established by HUD, or they are employed by a Section 3 business concern, or they are a youth bill participant. And a youth bill participant is a community-based pre-apprentice program that provides job training and educational opportunities for at-risk youth between the ages of 16 to 24 who has previously dropped out of high school. So that will qualify as a youth bill participant. Next slide. We have our Section 3 target worker. So to qualify as a Section 3 target worker, that means you're working on a housing community development financial assistance project. And one of the categories you can qualify as being employed by a Section 3 business concern, or currently fit, or when hired fit at least one of the following categories and can be documented within the past 5 years. That means you were living with the service area or the neighborhood of the project as defined in 24 CFR 75.5, or you are a youth bill participant. Next slide, please. So the Section 3 certification process to receive credit toward the numerical goals, which is the contracting or the employment goals. Businesses and workers must be certified through the City of Houston Housing and Community Development. We administer and monitor the Section 3 certification. The certification process takes approximately 5 to 7 business days once all supporting documentations are met. And to complete an online application for our Section 3 business concern, you will go to that link on the Housing Community Development HCD section 3.gov2g.com to go ahead and start that Section 3 business concern application. For our Section 3 worker applications, you may submit it by email to hcdcontractcompliance@houstontx.gov, or we have a digital application that you can click on that link provided, and you'll be able to access our Section 3 worker application. And for more information regarding the Section 3 business or the Section 3 worker applications, or any information regarding Section 3 compliance program requirements, you can always visit Housing Community Development Department's website at houstontx.gov/housing/section3.html/section3. Next slide, please. Last but not least, we have the Pay or Play program requirements. So Pay or Play is governed by the City of Houston Executive Order 1 through 7. And the purpose of the City of Houston's program is to require certain contractors to provide certain employees a minimum level of health care benefits or contribute a designated amount to use to offset costs of providing health care to uninsured people in the Houston and Harris County area. So covered projects will be any professional service, construction, or service type contract that is valued at or above $100,000 for the primary contractor and $200,000 for any subcontracts. This is including contingencies, amendments, supplemental terms, and or change orders. And additionally, Pay or Play program does not apply to any contract in which the primary purpose is 51% or more is for procurement of the purchase of property, leases, goods, supplies, and or equipment. Also, contractors that utilize self-employment, like the owner-operator individuals, to complete services such as truck drivers, day laborers, 1099 workers, are exempt from Pay or Play program. Next slide. So to be considered a covered employee on a covered project that's applicable to Pay or Play, the program applies to employees of a covered contractor or subcontractor that are over the age of 18, work at least 30 hours per week, and any amount of time under a covered city contract or subcontract will be considered a covered employee and will adhere to Pay or Play program requirements. Next slide. So one of the options, if your project is applicable to Pay or Play requirements, then one option is our pay option. The pay option will be for you to contribute $1 per covered employee per regular hour for work performed under the contract with the city. These funds are deposited into the contract responsibility fund and used to offset costs for providing healthcare insurance to uninsured people in the Houston and Harris County area. Unfortunately, the employees of the POP covered contractors will not receive $1 per regular hour for work performed under the contract. It will go into the contractor responsibility fund. Next slide, please. The other option is our play option, this is what we definitely want to see, and we encourage you to actually utilize the play option by providing healthcare benefits to covered employees. The healthcare benefits must exceed the City of Houston filing standards, and that's the employee will contribute no less than 75% per covered employee per month towards the total premium cost. The employee's contribution, if any amount, will be no greater than 25% of the monthly premium cost, and this is for single coverage only. HCD provides populated information in regards to what forms need to be completed, information in regards to any updates on the pay option or the play option, or anything regarding the pay or play information for the program requirements. You can always visit the website at www.houstontx.gov/obo/popforms.html. And this concludes the contract compliance portion as it relates to HUD Section 3, City of Houston MWSBE, and pay or play program requirements. Thank you for your time, and we're excited about the opportunity to collaborate with you all.
Thank you, Lakeisha. Up next, we have complaints and appeals, which I believe will be presented by Stefan.
How y'all doing? My name is Stefan Lawston. I'm stepping in for my supervisor, Kristen Robinson, and it's a pleasure to be here. Next slide. All right, so just some general information about complaints and appeals. So as far as complaints, our team is designed to receive any type of complaints or appeals that you may have. Complaints will be anything regarding our operations. Some examples would be, our process time, status updates, program requirement, or any conflict of interest that you may discover. Normally within complaints, we try to get back with the representative within 15 days. And that's the email link that you can use to initiate a complaint. Just know that we cannot answer or, receive any complaints during the NOFA no contact period. And so just keep that in mind. Any inquiries, we ask you to reach out to the actual NOFA team directly. Appeals. So only person, when it comes down to appeals, is going to be based on the program determination. So example, if y'all receive, maybe you don't get you get denied of services, you're denied based on the procedure errors or anything like that, you can always appeal. You have at least 30 days within the determination time frame to file an appeal, and normally we get back with people that appeal within 30 to 45 days. Keep in mind that appeals can only be filed after a determination has been made. Okay, so who can file an appeal? So as far as an appeal, any member of the public can file an appeal, and also, and more importantly, program participants, they can file, complaints. Who can file a complaint? Any member of the public can file a complaint, as well as program participants, they can file a complaint. Appeals, we don't accept appeals from the program area, from the public, but anyone that is part of the program participation, they can file an appeal. What we need to start a complaint or appeal, basically as much information as possible, but at minimum, we need your first name, last name, address, the name of the project or the NOFA, your phone number, your preferred method of contact, and the reason for the complaint or appeal. Next. When it comes down to appeals, we have 3 tiers. The first tier would be the program area. They would be the ones that would be checking out and re-reviewing anything that they, have gathered during your eligibility time. And when it comes down to the tier 2 appeal, that's when it will come to our team. We would take a more general overlook as to what happened during the process, and see if the program area, made the right decision, or if they, maybe dropped the ball or anything like that. And when it comes down to a tier 3 appeal, that would, be escalated to the state level. Keep in mind, like I said before, appeals must be in writing within 30 days of the award determination. And normally we get back with y'all within 1 business day to let you know that we received the appeal. We ask all appellants to provide any supporting documents to justify their appeal within 5 days. And when it comes down to appeals, again, HCD normally render a determination letter within 45 days for NOFAs. And this is just some information of how you can reach us. You can reach us by way of hotline. You could email us directly, or you could come in person and file an appeal. Next.
I think that's it. Thank you, Stefan.
Thank you.
All right, so thank you guys for hanging in there. And I appreciate all our presenters sharing their expertise with the callers. So if you have any questions, you can always reach out to them, or you can reach out to the HCD_NOFA email address, which I will share. All right, so what I'm going to do is quickly, because we're running out of time always, I'm going to quickly walk you through how to get to the NOFA if you haven't already seen it, and then how to apply. All right, so if you visit the website up there at the top of the screen, houstontx.gov/housing/funding .html pound NOFA, you will take you to where we post all of our open NOFAs. So you'll click on Notice of Funding Availability. And right now you'll see the CDBG DR17 Stella Link Development Project there. If we have any other open NOFAs, they'll be there as well. So here is where you get your brief overview. You'll also have that link to the conference today will come down after today, and we will, as soon as this slide deck gets edited and the recording gets edited, we will post that there. So if you go to View Documents and click on that button, it will pull up all the documents you need to apply for this NOFA. So what I like to suggest that you do is start with that application checklist, because that'll tell you all the different pieces you need. And then if there's a form that you need, it will be in this list. If you don't see something there that you need, please contact me immediately so that I can get that rectified. The other big document that you will need is that application workbook, which will be the place where you can enter your more quantitative type information, your housing mix, things of that nature, your sources and your uses. That just makes it a little bit easier for you for us at least, to have a concise format for you to submit that type of information. And the others are just, required city forms or required HCD forms. The other little button you'll see is the supplemental document. So I know previously Melissa discussed the environmental assessment phase 1 that was completed. So that document should be there. The supplementary or the preliminary site design will be there. If there's anything that you think should be there that's not, or you would expect to find there that's not, just reach out to me and we'll just make sure that it didn't get looked over. One thing you should know about that button is it does download immediately onto your hard drive, a zip drive. So when you click that, it immediately downloads a zip file full of those documents. So I just want you to be aware of that. So if you're working from a phone, it may not work as well. It might be better to open that from an actual computer. And then finally, that last button is how to submit. That's the HCD document submission portal. And the next slides, I'll show you how to do that. So you click there and it will open up this portal. It's important that you do this correctly, otherwise I will not see your application. So the first question will say, are these documents for a NOFA submission? And you say yes. Then it says, please enter project or solicitation number. For this particular project, the solicitation ID is N0607224. You put that number in. And as you can see here, it automatically populates the NOFA title, Stella Link Development Project. If you do not see that populated, then you are not, you didn't put the number in right, or something went wrong. So before you start uploading things, please make sure that NOFA title says Stella Link Development Project. You'll put in your organization information. One thing I like to remind people is to please put a contact number and contact email that you know will be regularly checked. Because what will happen is when I do the threshold review, I will be looking to make sure you have all the documents. We do usually provide a cure period, so if something's missing, you'll get 3 business days to submit it back to me. If you don't have someone who's manning the email that's listed here, then that could get lost. So please just make sure you put a contact number and email in this box here that will be replied to immediately. And then if you scroll down through the portal, it'll have all the documents that are required for this particular application. I didn't include the threshold, which will be at the bottom of the screen. You'll scroll down to the bottom of the portal, and there will be a space to for fields to put in your threshold requirements. And again, I'll just make another note about threshold. That's the bare minimum. So how the process works is you submit the application through the portal. I open the applications. I look through those threshold documents to make sure you meet the bare minimum requirements. If you don't meet those, then your application does not move forward to evaluation. Like I said earlier, there is usually a cure period of 3 business days, where if you forgot to upload something, the upload didn't work correctly, then I allow you to resubmit that within 3 business days. So that is true with any kind of non-material item. You're able to submit that if something went wrong with the application. I'm going to discuss next the no contact period. Before that, I wanted to also say that any questions that are submitted.
We added like an additional 1,000 for dental, and then an additional.
Can you mute yourself, please? So if there's any questions submitted to the HCD _NOFA at houstontx.gov email address that you see right
Something
there.
similar, that's Blue Cross Blue Shield as well.
Patrice, can you mute yourself, please? So if anything is emailed to there, any questions, they are published in a letter of clarification that will also be posted to the website. So before you submit your application, it's a best practice to always check the website for a letter of clarification and make sure there was no changes to the NOFA, or there may be a question that was asked that you need to know the answer to because it may impact your application. So always check for that letter of clarification. The preference is, like I said, to the questions to be sent in writing to that HCD _NOFA at houstontx.gov. And the reason is that is manned by more than one person. So if I am out, somebody else will be able to receive that and answer it. Whereas if you make a phone call and I'm not in, then your phone call doesn't get returned until I'm back in the office. So please submit all your questions to that email address and they will be responded to within 24 hours. So the no contact period, as some people have mentioned on this call already, basically no applicant can reach out to any elected official, city employee, family of employees, staff members in an attempt to sway the results of the NOFA or the award recommendation. So I'm not saying that you can't reach out to a city employee about something other than this NOFA, but if you're reaching out to try to sway the results, that is prohibited. All inquiries for this solicitation should go directly to the city representative, which would be myself, Lindsay Broom. So you use that email address for all your questions and your concerns. And if I'm unable to answer it, I will route it to the single family team. Again, you cannot reach out to anyone trying to sway the results of the award recommendation. However, nothing shall prevent an applicant from making a public statement to City Council scheduled for a regularly scheduled session after the official selection has been made and placed on City Council agenda, or to a City Council committee convened to discuss a recommendation for the award. So once we've made the award recommendation, if it goes to City Council, then you are free to come to City Council and make your statement. All right, so I'm gonna open it up for question and comments now. I haven't looked at the chat to see if there are any. So and if anybody has anything that they want to ask now, you can unmute yourself and ask, or you can raise your hand.
Good morning. Thank you guys. Excellent presentation. My question pertains to the site noise assessment. Has the study been conducted? And if not, at what point will the study be conducted?
Hi, Vanessa. This is Devon. And yes, the site study has been conducted and will be available to the applicants.
The site noise assessment study?
Yes, the site noise assessment study.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Peter?
Hey, good morning. Thank you all for the presentation. This is Peter Friedman with Agape Homes. Quick question, is a property in a flood zone of any sort? And then is there any other requirements on the building like garages or anything like that other than the 2-bedroom and 4-bedroom selections?
I'm sorry. So we are requiring that the homes are built with garages, 2-car garages. And what was the other question that you asked in the beginning? I'm sorry.
No, it's
flood
not
zone.
located in a flood zone.
Yes, that's correct. It's not in a flood zone.
Okay, thank you. And so it's 2-car garage. Is there any other requirements on the homes other than the bedrooms, any baths, anything else?
2-car garages, 2 baths. Let's see, we have, so we're basically allowing the developer to create a design with a mixture of homes based on the property, the dimensions of the property. So we understand that the density will vary, but we're asking that you be creative, and we are asking for 2-car garages with porch, individual yard space for, to give the homeowners that value. And that will be listed within the scoring criteria, and it's itemized to show you the different features that we're looking for in your development.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, we have Park Street Homes. Park Street Homes. Did you still have a question? Okay, I'm going to move to Zach. Zach, if you had a question, we can't hear you.
Good morning. Thank you all. Is there a minimum number of homes that you would like to get out of this development?
So we're basically, I know that we're up to 100 is the goal for this property. However, the best design, maximizing the most, the land is what we're looking for.
Okay, we have Blessing and Park Street Homes. Did you still have a question? Yes, did you have a question?
Yes, I have a question. Please, can I have a copy of the presentation to my email, please?
The presentation will be posted on the HCD website.
Okay, can you please copy the website on the chat, please?
Sure, no problem.
Thank you.
Vanessa, did you have a question?
Yes, had another question. So the site plan that you guys want to see with the green space and the mixed designs, is that going to be due on July 12th?
Hi, Vanessa. So we are asking that you submit a preliminary design with your application.
Zach, did you have another question?
Yes, please. In compliance, I did not catch it correctly. Did you mention that Davis-Bacon and MWBE is only required on the infrastructure, or both infrastructure and the construction of homes?
This is Laura Serrano with the City of Houston. We are looking to seek guidance from the Texas General Land Office, who is the direct recipient of the Harvey funds. In order to get that clarification, they have already verbally notified us that Davis-Bacon and related acts applies to the entire development. But us here in our department, we want to kind of hone in and get clarification if it's also includes the building of the homes or only the site preparation. So we're waiting to get clarification on that.
Thank you, Laura.
And if we have that information before the NOFA is due, then we will post that in a letter of clarification on the website. Okay, I'm going to move over to the chat. How many developers will be considered? Devon, how many developers will be considered?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so one developer will be rewarded. However, we are seeking a developer that brings multiple, builders within their project.
The 11.5 million for infrastructure, is this loan to the developer forgiven when obligations are met?
Yes, the loan is forgivable.
The MWSB Section 3 and possibly Davis-Bacon requirements would only apply to the amounts of the 11.5 million of funding used for the project.
Davis-Bacon applies anytime there are $2,000 of federal dollars, independent of the remaining funding sources. So Davis-Bacon will apply, should it apply to the entire development.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, and MWBE would apply to the funding, whatever amount that's being funded for the project, and as well as Section 3. So Section 3 will apply to the funding that's going to be approved with CDB DR17, as well if you have any other funding from local or private entities that will be matching or anything like that. Once Section 3 is funded partially, then it'll apply to that total direct construction cost as well.
Okay, you guys could not hear me. My question was about the scoring criteria and what was the capital liquidity requirement. Devon, do you know how much capital we are asking them to have?
Yes, we're asking to have at least the amount that it will cover the grant, which is up to 12 million.
We have some folks asking how they can apply as a future home buyer.
I'm sorry, Lindsay, can you repeat that?
They're asking how would they apply as a future home buyer? So after the construction has been done, when they start to sell the homes, how would they apply as a home buyer? We had a couple of those questions.
So we do have an intake eligibility team that the developer is able to refer over to the department to process any prospective home buyers.
Okay. And also, is the 12 million liquid or net worth?
I believe it's combined. I'm not sure. Mr. Skeet, are you able to chime in on that?
Net worth.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You're
One
welcome.
developer with multiple builders. How selects the builder, the city or who selects the builders, the city or the selected developer? So one developer, multiple builders, who selects the builders, the city or the selected developer?
So that would be part of the developer's team. So the application will require that you submit resumes and information about your actual team that will be working on this project. And that's part of the evaluation and threshold criteria.
Okay, I'm going to bounce back over to the questions. Zach?
Yes, would the grants that applies toward the development cost, would that be funded based on progress draws or would it be reimbursement?
Mr. Ski, do you mind answering that for me?
Progress.
Thank you.
Okay. Jean Michael, Jean Michael, we're not able to hear you. I can see that you've unmuted, but we can't hear you. Just if you're able to drop it in the chat, maybe we can answer your question that way. Okay, Vanessa?
Yes, on the buyer side, are you guys allowing grant assistance from your department on this project and or the community land trust?
So the home buyer assistance will be through the developer assistance. So it's basically subsidized within the developer's market and selling proposal.
So you're saying because a portion of this project is affordable and the other portion is market rate, that should be the subsidy that offsets for the buyers?
Yes, Vanessa, that is correct.
Okay, and then are we still allowed to use any other grant programs?
Mr. Ski, do you mind answering that for me?
I would have to get clarification on that part. And we can put that in the letter of clarification.
Jean Michael, you want to try again? Okay, let's just do a couple more that we have remaining. Will buyers be able to layer grants?
I believe that kind of alludes to the previous question, and that's something that we'll need to clarify to ensure that we answer that correctly.
Zach, did you have one more question?
Yes, please. Now, you mentioned earlier that the developer slash builder will design the homes that they will be pre-qualified based on the design. Would there be a minimum construction standard on top of that after the design has been approved? Or would the design stand on its own?
So we do require that the build meets the City of Houston's minimum construction standards. And we are requiring that the homes are built to be resilient and energy efficient. And again, we have criteria that is included with the application. So the design is based upon those features that we're looking for, and that's what the scoring will be measured against.
Okay, so just follow up on that question. Would that be the code minimum standards or would that be the housing department minimum construction standards?
So it'll be the City of Houston's code standards as well as the City of Houston Housing Department's minimum construction standards, which are also available as a supplemental document within the packet.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I missed this one question. Is the developer responsible to set aside funds to assist buyers?
I believe so. Mr. Skeet, is that correct?
That would be part of the subsidy.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. All right. So if anyone has any questions after this conference, please email me, hcd_NOFA@houstontx.gov, and we will get an answer to your question as long as it's before July 3rd. So I really appreciate you all joining us today and for your interest in the project. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.